Start the night with a little bit of inspiration. Abe wanted to share with us an idea that we all sort of sometimes forget, struggle with. Our clients graduate, and how do we maintain relationships with them after, and what are the things to think about to sort of carry on that beautiful relationship. So Abe, take it away, and you got the mic.
Oh, great. Okay. I don't know if it's a special treat, Simon, but we'll do what we can.
Sounds good.
It's going to be a great night, guys. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. One thought we wanted to start the night with is something that kind of manifested itself this week with one of our clients, and it got us thinking. So I'll start at the beginning. We know that disbursements in client services is actually down, and that's not necessarily a good sign, because our job is to treat cases and help people, and it's not all about the money, that's for sure. But it is important that we maintain a trend line and that we have, a robust client list. If it was a business, you'd want your numbers to go up every year. This is an unfortunate number to go up, but if it's not going up, it means we might not be attracting as many clients as we need to. So on the board level, there is going to be an initiative rolling out later this year to start talking more to rabbis around the community and different organizations to do a better job of explaining what SBH does, because they're the front line. They're the people that see people in need first. And so giving them the ability to recommend their congregants and their members to SBH, if they clearly understand why and how, that's going to help us, right? But this week, we had an incident happen with one of our clients that made us realize we might have an opportunity at hand to do some of that work ourselves. We have a client who was probably, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, top 5 clients of this year. Yes. From a scary and dangerous perspective, suicidal, everything going wrong in the house, needed a tremendous amount of TLC. So we put together a pretty strong team, and we spent 4 to 6 months supporting this family with almost anything you can imagine that goes on in a house, including putting the mom in a semi-inpatient program for 3 months at a tremendous expense. After working with them for that long amount of time, they looked great, they sounded great, they graduated. We stayed in touch, mostly with the husband, not as much with the wife. And it seemed to be every time we spoke to them, everything was great. Baruch Hashem, you guys saved our lives, etc. Fantastic. A real success story. Somebody went to their house on Purim to give them Mishloach Manot, family member, and we got a phone call. Actually, Lily and Sarur got a phone call from that family member saying, I understand SBH had an involvement with my family, but I went into the house and it's not a good scene. And they described some alarming things to us that made it clear that the family is being very hesitant to disclose the fact that they maybe are on the full path to recovery. Not important to get into what it is, but we obviously jumped into action, and we're going to deal with it over the next couple of weeks and months to make sure that they're back to safety and everything we got to do. In the meantime, that woke us up to say, I wonder how many of the clients that we graduated or that lapsed from SBH care actually have things going on that we think they're okay because they're not reaching out to us, but we're not doing a proper job of reaching out to them. So this is the idea. We want to start being more planful and structured about what we do with our client base after they don't come to us for needs anymore, right? And I'm going to give you an example. But before I give you the example, I'm going to say it is delicate. It's a fine line, because there are clients that you don't necessarily want to put back on the asking schedule. And we all know who those clients are. We all have clients that when you open the door, they come rushing in, and they don't necessarily need that help. Usually that's financial. So we don't necessarily want to encourage it. On the other hand, they may have a need for child tutoring. They may have a need for mental health. Maybe it's medical referrals. Maybe the client's not doing a good job and career services can help, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the only way we're going to get to that is to stay in communication with them And you gotta know how to have that communication by knowing your client, by knowing their trigger points, and knowing how to open the door for them to tell you what they need without encouraging them to automatically fall back into dependency mode. So an example that we have to share, and he was hoping to be here to tell you himself, but Raymond Dayan, one of our chairs and board members and one of our best captains. So Raymond tackled this on his own earlier this year and started a practice of calling his clients before Shabbat. Sometimes he would text them, sometimes he would call them. Now, clients that he's on an ongoing basis with, he'll make it a point to call them every Shabbat, every Friday afternoon. And he has that light conversation. He just opens the door. Shabbat Shalom, how you doing, how's everything? Okay, beautiful, anything you need, beautiful, Shabbat Shalom. Gives them the chance and a little bit of space to open up and say, I need this, I'm struggling with that. Clients that he is in the process of offboarding, meaning they got to a place where their problem is mostly solved and it's going on maintenance, he'll call them every other Shabbat. And then clients that he's graduated once a month. So the cadence is important because you don't need to call a client that you're not actively working with every week, but at least once a month. And it takes 5 minutes for us to check in and see what could be uncovered. Maybe it's nothing, but if we're not asking, so my suspicion, I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but my suspicion is that 25% of our graduated clients or lapsed clients still need help from SBH, but they're hesitant to be the first ones to make the move to ask for help again because they remember, it makes me look weak, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to remember bad memories and seem needy again, and all of that is nonsense because we all need help from SBH. So that's the concept, that's the idea. It's not a formalized piece of the training yet, but we can all start today. There's no reason why we can't start the practice today or informal basis. Thinking about, me personally, I have 4 or 5 clients that I'm negligent. They're not ever calling me, so I'm not ever calling them. So I'm putting my name first on the list that I'm not doing this now, and I need to start. And I would encourage all of us to do so. We will at some point formalize it as part of training, but for now, I think it's a good idea for us to all just start informally.
Beautiful,
Thank you so much, Abe.
Thank you. I think, as you said, this beautiful, inspiring idea that we as workers always struggle with dependency versus independency. When do you let go? When do you go back? And I think it's a great idea. And thank you for sharing that. And a great idea that we really need to probably think about it and even talk about it. Maybe have a training on that idea. As you said, Abe, I don't think there's a good answer. No one really knows that right level. But just the awareness of the two sides, I guess, can help all of us. Thank you.
For sure, for sure. All right, guys, enjoy.